Hello, YouTube. Sorry about the bad angling. I do what I can. Okay. So, today, I'm going to talk about the 16personalities.com test. It's said to be the most accurate free test, but don't consider it gospel by any stretch of the imagination. It still has its flaws, and the people taking it also likewise have their flaws, okay? But that's my disclaimer. Anyways, I've seen a lot of people accurately tested on it and unaccurately tested on it. But it's more accurate than it is inaccurate, but I don't know what the real percentages are. But anyways, I want to see, by answering brutally honest, what we get on my type, okay? There are videos where I discussed my type, and there's, because it was revealed to me by some people who just saw it in my character. And there's some people that think I'm another type, and they're not online. There's people I know personally. There's just a couple of them, but they don't understand anything about MBTI or cognitive functions. Even it's all stereotyping. So let's do this for real, okay? I'm going to take this test. My best advice for people who do take the test: don't overanalyze it. Just answer truthfully. You find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people. I will say, honestly, lastly, disagree, like on the far end, but at the same time, do I like introducing myself to people? No. Does it feel awkward? Yes. Is it something I go out of my way to do? No. Can I do it? Yes. Does it feel weird? Yes. It's not really something I like to do. You get so lost in your thoughts that you forget your surroundings. That is very much agree. I daydream a lot. I zone out a lot, even when I'm driving. If I'm not careful, I'll miss my exits because I'm thinking about other crap or I'm listening to music and I'm zoning. You try to respond to your emails as quickly as possible. Emails, no. Instant messages, it depends on who it is. I always read them, but I only respond to the ones that I find relevant. So I guess I'll say agree. But email itself, no. Never, honestly. But instant messages, yes. You find it easy to stay relaxed when there's pressure? Oh, hell no. I get stressed out way too fucking easily. You do not initiate conversations. With people I'm comfortable with, like my bros, I don't mind saying, hey, what's up, dude? What do you think about this amp? Or whatever it is we're talking about. I'm going to say on the very far end of disagree, because like when it comes to people I don't know, no, I don't initiate conversations. I don't like talking to people I don't know, and I typically will avoid them or just blow them off, which is why I have kind of a cold vibe sometimes. But if you're a good bro of mine, yeah, I'll initiate conversation with you because we're cool. Okay, you rarely do something out of sheer curiosity. Agree for the most part. I don't do anything that crazy. You feel superior to other people, disagree. Being organized is more important than being adaptable. Well, I'm not very organized, although I would agree it is good to be organized. I'm going to say disagree because I'm not organized. Let's go with the facts here. I'm not organized. I'd like to be, but it's just not really happening. Highly motivated, energetic. Motivated with my music, but not highly energetic. I'm a very slow-paced kind of guy, a very mellow kind of guy. But I would say a little disagree because I am highly motivated with my music and my passions. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. I agree because I don't like hurting feelings. Although, because I don't care to argue or debate with people. I might tell you how I feel about something or give you some facts and something, then I leave the conversation and you have to figure it out for yourself. I don't like arguing. You feel like you have to justify yourself. Unfortunately, yes, your work environments are quite tidy. That is bullshit. I am very much not tidy. You do not mind being the center of attention. I would say disagree. I really don't want to be noticed much. Like at work, I hide from people, or I have my headphones on. Or in big crowds, I tend to just blend into the crowd. I don't really want anybody to notice me. Um, I don't mind being on stage. That's fun. But that is different. Okay, You consider yourself more practical than creative. I would disagree slightly. I'm reasonably practical, but a little more creative than practical. People can really upset you. That's bullshit. Have you ever seen me on the fucking road? I yell at all the drivers who can't drive properly. I'm a, I'm a grumpy Gus on the road. It's not fun. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. Well, I don't really travel a whole lot. I just drive where I need to go. I mean, I like to cruise. I would say no because I went to San Antonio a couple years ago and I didn't fucking know what the hell was going on. It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. Disagree. I relate to your feelings very well. I know why you feel the way you feel because I felt it myself. Your mood can change very quickly. It's mostly disagree. I mean, slightly disagree. Because if I'm, driving, that's different. In a discussion, truth should be more important than sensitivities. I would say on the far end of agree, meaning almost in the middle, and disagreeing because I don't want to hurt anybody. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. I disagree. I do care about my actions for the most part because I don't want to hurt anybody. Once again, your energy style is closer to a methodical, an organized approach. No. Or it's closer to random energy spikes than a methodical approach. No. No random energy spikes. Slow pace like a snail at all times. Unfortunately, I am kind of a snail, which sucks. I wish I could move faster. Your image of others, not really. You do you, I do me. An interesting video game is often better than a social event. Honestly, it depends on my mood. I work in such a solitary job that I don't crave being alone as much as I normally do. But then there are days after working alone because the job is boring that I still want to come home and continue being alone but doing things I like watching YouTube, playing guitar, listening to music, or browsing the damn internet or whatever the fuck it is I do. So I'm going to say slight agree, but it's really like 50-50. It's really what headspace I'm in. If I want to hang out with one or two good bros and go eat somewhere, I'm totally down to do that. If I want to go cruising somewhere, I'm totally down to do it. But if I just want to be alone and just fucking veg out, I'm totally down to do that. I've used to be a hermit, but I've been pulled out of my shell over the years. Being able to stick to a plan is the most important part of every project. I would agree. You rarely get carried away by your fantasies and ideas. I mean, yeah. I'm relatively realistic. I'm imaginative, but I'm also a realistic person too. You often get lost in your thought when walking nature. Of course, the whole point of going to nature is to zone out. If someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. Kind of. Agree-ish. As a parent, you'd rather see your child grow up kind and smart. On the very last end of agree, almost into neutral and disagree. You do not let other people influence your actions. That is mostly true. I'm a hard-headed motherfucker that does what he wants to do. I mean, I'm not saying I won't listen to you, but still, when you sleep, your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events. Yeah, I guess I could agree with that. Ish, like towards the far end of agree, going into neutral and disagree. It does not take time for you to get involved in social activities at your workplace. Disagree. I don't fucking hang out with anybody from work, and it would be awkward. And I don't join in new social events that easily. Basically have to feel comfortable with you. Like my band, I can hang out with them all day. They're people I like. They're people I feel safe with. Actually, the majority of my friends are basically bandmates or ex-bandmates. You're more of a natural improviser, a careful planner. Well, kind of in the middle. I try to plan because I don't really like surprises. I'm going to say slightly disagree because I do like to know what the hell's going on. Your emotions control you more than you control them. I don't know. I mean, I feel things deeply all the time, but I know how to basically control them unless I'm on the road. I'm going to say slightly disagree. Because I have my moments, but for the most part, I'm pretty chill and aloof. You enjoy going to social events dressed up for role play. I don't know. I mean, it sounds kind of cool. I guess I'll say slightly agree. You know, like, what am I thinking of? Like, what is it called? Like, the Renaissance Fair is pretty badass, you know. You often spend time thinking of unrealistic and unpractical ideas. Not really. I think about stuff, but I don't think about unrealistic ideas. I mean, every now and then I will, so I'll put slightly disagree. You'd rather improvise than spending up time coming up with a detailed plan. Once again, that's really in the middle. It just depends, really. You're a relatively quiet person. To me, that's situational. If I'm with people I'm uncomfortable with, I will talk their ears off, especially if it's about something I'm interested in. If it's a large group, then I won't say anything. No, I get really quiet around large groups of people. But if it's just one or two good bros, I might be talking about God, MBTI, guitars, my favorite amplifiers, music. But when I'm like around people I don't know or the crowd is big, like if it's a big group, then I am relatively quiet. If I'm at work, I am quiet. So I'm going to say kind of agree, but it's really almost in the middle on that one. But like over the years before I came out of my show, I really was a very quiet person at church. I didn't say anything other than maybe asking some questions about the scripture we were reading. Church camp, I was quiet. School, I was quiet. So my natural self, yes. But as I've gotten more comfortable over the years, I will be talkative with my bros. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire somebody. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, even though I might get really pissed off because I'm a musician, I refer that to my musical experience. You often contemplate the reason for existence. No, I have a good idea why God put us here to glorify Him with our gifts and talents. Logic is more important than heart when it comes to decisions. I would say, I mean, it is, but it isn't, because I'd make all of my decisions with my heart, really. So I'll say slightly disagree. Keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. I guess I'll slightly agree because I really don't like to-do lists. I like knowing what's going on, but a to-do list would drive me nuts. If your friend is sad about something, you're more likely to offer emotional support. That is true. You rarely feel insecure. That is bullshit. I'm very insecure. You have no difficulty sticking to a timetable. Bullshit. I always tell myself, tomorrow at this time we're going to do this, and it never happens. Being right is more important than being quadro when it comes to teamwork. I disagree. Just fucking cooperate and stop starting shit with everybody. I think everyone's views should be regardless whether you think everybody's views should be respected regardless if they are supported by facts or not. To a degree, yes, so I'll say agree. People are allowed to think and feel the way they want to. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It doesn't even mean they're right, but people, they own their perspective. You feel energetic after being around a group of people. For the most part, no. I'm going to say slightly disagree. It really depends on what I did. If it was a large group of people, I'm really, really tired, and then the next day I feel hungover. If it's really low-key, one or two good friends, I'm typically okay. It just depends. Or I could be really tired while I'm out and about, but as I'm driving home, I start to wake up a little bit more after being home for a little bit. So it really depends on what activities were going on the day. You frequently misplace your things. Not really. Everything is set in a certain spot. You see yourself as very emotionally stable. And for the most part, yeah. Your mind is buzzing with unexplored ideas. And slightly disagree. Because for the most part, not really. You would not call yourself a dreamer. Disagree, I'm definitely a dreamer. You find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. I don't know, I really don't talk in front of many people. I mean, I could do karaoke and pretend I'm a front man, but that's an act. I guess I'll say slightly disagree. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way and go give a public speech. Let's put it that way. Generally speaking, you rely on experience more than imagination. That is very true. If I know it's worked before, I'll go back to it again. You worry too much about what other people think. Unfortunately, that is a sad but true reality about me because I'm very insecure. When the room is close, you stay close. When the room is full, you stay closer to the walls. For the most part, you tend to procrastinate. So you have no time to do anything. Yeah, you feel very anxious and stressful situations. Yes, unfortunately, you find it more rewarding to be liked than powerful. I don't know. Being powerful is pretty cool, and being liked is pretty cool because you don't want to be hated. It's one of those, and six one dozen, half a dozen the other. Uh, I guess I'll say slightly agree. You're into ambiguous things like books, art, movies. Yeah, I'm into like music and guitar gear. It's the same fucking thing. Whatever. You often take initiative in social situations. I don't know what that means. I mean, I will hang out with my band members and be like, "Hey, let's go eat somewhere." I might say in the middle on that, but like large groups of people, no. Hanging out with my band, yes, because I'm comfortable. So let's see what the hell we got. Okay, if you can even read any of that shit. It says I'm 58% introverted, which is about right. I'm almost in the middle. I'm still more introverted than extroverted, but it's very marginal. But that is really me. So my introversion and extroversion are like almost a 60-40 split, and my sensing and intuition are about the same. That would make sense for ISFP because we lead with FI, and then we have extroverted sensing and introverted intuition as the tertiary, as the auxiliary and tertiary function. So that would make a lot of sense that the observing functions would be almost split like that, if you wanted to think of it that way. Since my feeling is pretty high, which would be correlated to FI, and my thinking is kind of low, meaning my logic doesn't mean I don't think, but it just means I use more personal judgment than empirical logic for making decisions, which sounds about right. Prospecting and judging are almost even, but I'm still more a perceiver than I am a judger. But I do lead with a judging function, which is introverted feeling, which would probably be why that is. A lot of IPs and IJs are pretty balanced in that area. Says I'm turbulent. Yeah. I'm not the most assertive guy in the world. I'd like to be assertive, would be great, but it's just not me, really, not in this current moment. But it says I'm ISFPT, the adventurer. Which sounds about right. They're known for being artists. They're known for their creativity. They're known for like being guitar players, being, even actors. What else is there? They're known for being actors. They're known for like their performances. They're known for their paintings. They're known for like music. Anything that's very expressive, they're known for, and. So that's kind of cool. And like another example of my type would be people like Lady Gaga. Actually, I don't really listen to her music, but I respect her because she's a good singer. She's an ISFP from what I hear, and she definitely fits the bill. I've seen enough interviews to kind of get it out of her. I could definitely tell she's in that vein. So yeah, this is ISFPT. Some people were highly introverted though, like in the 70s, and I'm almost in the middle because I do like to actually go out and do things. I just need to recharge afterwards. That's basically how it works. I'll want to go do something, I'll do it, and then I'll come home and need to decompress and get my energy back. And if I'm around like a lot of people, I typically need about a day or so to recover because it's really exhausting. But hanging out with one or two good friends that I'm really comfortable with, I'll typically be okay, or I won't be as tired. But I would read the description, but it would take a long time. You can just read it on the website. I change the course of the day, and I wake up one person, I go to sleep. I know for certain I'm somebody else. Well, just because we're very in the moment, and we feel things very much in the moment, You might have been angry when you woke up that day, but maybe the day went better, so I don't know. Adventurer personalities are true artists, but not necessarily in the typical sense where they're out painting happy little trees. Yeah, who would want to paint a happy little tree? Often enough, though, they are perfectly capable of this. Rather, it's that they use aesthetics, design, and even their choices and actions to push the limits of social convention. Adventurers enjoy upsetting traditional expectations with experiments in beauty and behavior. Chances are they've expressed more than once, "Don't box me in." You know, I mean, I like knowing my type, but at the same time, we're very much ourselves. So I don't know if I've ever used the phrase "don't box me in," but I do think that we're very unique individuals, and even still, taking these tests gives you a very basic idea of how your brain works, but you're still a lot more than that type. You're uniquely you, and you have a lot of gifts. So I don't know. Adventurers live in a colorful, sensual world inspired by connections with people and ideas. These personalities take joy in reinterpreting these connections, reinventing, experimenting with both themselves and new perspectives. No other type explores, experiments in this way more. This creates a sense of spontaneity, making adventurers seem unpredictable even to their close friends and locals. I'm actually not unpredictable. I'm pretty boring, but at the same time, a lot of SPs can be pretty like that. It depends probably on their Enneagram. I think I would see more of like the TP types, especially ESTP. But yeah, despite all of this, adventurers are definitely introverts, surprising their friends further when they step out of the spotlight to be by themselves and recharge. Just because they are alone, though, doesn't mean the people with the adventurer personality type sit idle. They take this time for introspection, assessing their principles rather than dwelling on the past or the future. They think about who they are. I think about everything. I do get nostalgic, but I do actually think a lot about my identity. Who am I as a person? And what led me to what I am as a person. I do think about a lot of that kind of stuff. I think about everything. The brain never turns off, unfortunately. I used to get really, when I still struggle with it, but I've had really bad insomnia on and off over the years. I remember I would spend a couple of days by myself because I'm working alone. And then I'd come home and down a few Dr. Peppers, play guitar, watch some videos, and wouldn't be able to fall asleep because I'm a night shifter, and the sun comes out, and then I'd go to work the next day, still being up for the next day, and I wouldn't even feel that tired. My mind was still just racing. But then I would finally crash after 48 hours. Adventurers live to find ways to push their passions. Riskier behaviors like gambling, extreme sports more common. I'm sure, but me and my dad, we're both ISFP. We don't do the extreme sports, but I have seen him dabble into things that I could call risky, I guess. I'm very scared of getting into risky things. So, like, I'm very responsible. Like, if I go to the bar, I'm not going to drink a lot of alcohol because I don't want to feel drunk. Because, I don't know. I guess you can call that SE parent for you CS Joseph fans. That's SE parent saying don't drink that much or you might regret it. Fortunately, the attunement of the moment and their behavior allows them to most adventurers also enjoy connecting with others and have a certain irresistible charm. Yeah, I guess that's pretty true. However, if a criticism does get through, it can end poorly. Some adventurers can handle kindly phrased commentary, that's true. Valuing it as another perspective to help push their passions in new directions, but these comments are biting on the adventurous personalities can lose their temper in a spectacular fashion. Oh yeah, I've been known to yell at people. Not like random people I'm comfortable with. Not that that's any better, but I've got a really bad temper, and I was very argumentative as a teenager, and even still, I tend to bottle things up, and then once I can't take it anymore, I end up the tours. I've cussed people out before. It's not pretty. It's not right, but please don't push me to that point. We'll call that FITE imbalance. Adventurers are sensitive to others' feelings and value harmony when faced with criticism. It can be a challenge for people of this type to step away for the moment long enough to not get caught up in the heat of the moment. That is very true. But living in the moment goes both ways, and once the heightened emotions of an argument cool, adventurers can usually call the past and move on. It depends. Sometimes I'm like, I can do that, and other times I dwell on things. It just depends. My dad's the same way. The biggest challenge facing adventurers is planning for the future, finding constructive ideals to base their goals, and working out goals. Creative, positive principles is no small task. Adventurers don't plan their futures in terms of assets or retirement. Rather, they plan action and behaviors as contributions to a sense of identity, building a portfolio of experiences, not stocks. That's true. I never really was very futuristic in my thinking until like my 30s. I never thought long term. I knew what I was passionate about. I knew what I loved to do, but I never thought, oh, well, you need to really be prepared for retirement or this, that. You need to think about where you're going to, I never thought about stuff like that. I was very in the moment. And what tomorrow really had was not something I really thought much about unless it was like an immediate tomorrow. I was like, oh, I'm excited to go play this show or whatever it might be. But I never thought long term of where am I going to be in 5 or 10 years. And I think I've been asked that question before and I never know how to answer it. If these goals and principles are noble, adventurers can act with amazing charity, selflessness, but it can also happen that the people with the adventurer personality type establish a more self-centered identity. Yep. Acting with selfishness, manipulation, and egoism. It's important for adventurers to remember to actively become the person they want to be. Developing and maintaining a new habit may not come naturally, but taking time each day to understand their motivations allow adventurers to use their strengths to pursue whatever they love. I know I said I wasn't going to read it, but like, fuck it, it's kind of interesting actually. Basically, that what I got out of that article is more a little bit self-centered. Okay, strengths and weaknesses. Charming. People with the adventurer type are relaxed and warm, and their live and let live attitude naturally makes them likable and popular. I wouldn't say I'm popular, but once people get to know me and they don't think I'm weird anymore, they tend to like me. Sensitive to others, adventurers easily relate to others' emotions, helping them establish harmony and goodwill and minimize conflict. That is very true. Imaginative, being so aware of others' emotions, adventurers use creativity and insight to craft bold ideas to speak to people's hearts. While it's hard to explain this quality on a resume, their vivid imagination and exploratory spirit helps them in unexpected ways. That is true. Passionate. Hold on, we're almost through. Passionate. Beneath the adventurer's quiet shyness beats an intensely feeling heart. When people with this personality type are caught up in something exciting and interesting, they can leave everything else in the dust. Curious ideas are well and good, but adventurers need to see and explore for themselves whether the ideas ring true. Work revolving around the sciences may seem like a poor match for their traits, but the boldly artistic, humanistic vision is often exactly what research needs to be moved forward. Adventurers are given freedom. If adventurers are given freedom, they need to do so. Yeah, I am curious. I ask a lot of questions. I don't ever see myself as a scientist, though. I think certain things are cool like that. Like, I watch a lot of paranormal stuff. I think that's attributed to that tertiary and I were kind of drawn to the mysterious because we're so focused on, what's really going on that the unknown is kind of a fascinating thing. Artistic. Adventurers are able to show their creativity in tangible ways with stunning beauty, whether it's writing a song, that's what I do, painting an emotion, or presenting a statistic in a graph. Adventurers have a way of visualizing things that resonates with their audience. I actually used to draw maps a lot. I was fascinated by maps. I'd draw like city maps and kind of try to draw city maps or copy like the real map of Fort Worth and SimCity, or I would make my own lake maps. And that's kind of it's an art, but it's like a nerdy art, but it is art. Oh, weakness. Firstly, independent. Yeah. Freedom of expression is often top priority. Yeah, I know people tell me to cut my hair and beard all the damn time and that it doesn't look professional, but I don't really give a shit. Like traditions, hard rules creates a sense of oppression and adventure personalities. This can make them rigid, structured, academics, and work a challenge. Yep, that is not a lie. That is very true. Unpredictable. I'm not unpredictable. I'm actually pretty boring, but I could see a lot of SPs being unpredictable. Easily stressed, yes, that is definitely one that I relate to. Adventurers live in the present, full of emotion when situations get out of control. People with this personality type especially turbulent ones, can shut down, losing their characteristic charm and creativity in favor of gnashing teeth. I do get stressed easily. I can either be very passive aggressive or I can be a mean asshole. It just depends. Overly competitive. I'm not exactly a competitive person, but I guess when I was younger, if somebody was better than me on guitar, it kind of bugged me, and I'd want to like. I would compare my I would compare myself to people a lot, so I guess that's kind of in that ballpark. Um, or like a friend of mine is better than me on guitar now, but I started out being more skilled than him, and I always felt jealous, and I had to tell myself to get over it. They can escalate small things into intense competitions, turning down long-term success in the search for glory in the moment. But honestly, I'm not really that competitive. But I don't think every ISFP is, but I think we can be because extroverted sensing wants to be the best at everything. It depends. For me, I'm more like, well, okay, says I'm out of video time. Well, that covers it, anyways. And it also says we got fluctuating self esteem, which is very true. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you.